And finally, new rule, stop around. The issue with President Biden isn't if, it's who. Who will replace him, because he is not going to be the Democrats' candidate for president in 2024, all due respect. Above any matters of politics or what's right or wrong, the one thing I know for sure about America.
Oh, man, they lost Bill Maher. It's Jover, dude. They lost Bill Mother Maher. Folks, the Democratic Party has fallen, okay? I hate to see myself in agreement with one of my mortal enemies, okay? Like I have so much smoke for this piece. I hate him so much that I hate him almost as much as I hate Ben Shapiro. Okay? The amount of resentment and anger I have in my heart for this person. Why? He is the most smug, arrogant, like he is basically functionally a boomer who's a little bit younger than a boomer with a television show and a media presence. He's so smarmy, so pompous, so arrogant, demonstrates exactly the things that I despise about the entitlement that like liberal elites feel in their hearts. Like he is just as stupid as the average Republican in so many ways. Okay? Oh, he is a boomer. Okay, there you go. He is, you hate his demeanor more than his politics, LaMaFao? No, I hate his politics too. But also, Israel has a right to defend itself and also be a religious theocracy. Muslims, though, those are the barbarian sand monkeys. But of course, Israel, I'm Israel, hi. Like, that's him, okay? I despise him. I despise him. Everything he represents is just like, I hate, okay? Anyway, yeah, he is such a smarmy piece of shit. Okay, what was I going to say? Oh, his demeanor I despise, his attitude I despise, his ideology I despise. He is just the most annoying, most like, yeah, he's like a Reddit atheist, but but beefed up. Having said all of this, seems like he also sees the writing on the wall.
Okay. Is this
his humor? He has no humor. What are you talking about? He's the least funny comedian on the planet.
It's run by mean girls. Mean girls in the press and in politics and in life. And when they smell blood in the water, the lust to finish off a vulnerable person will never be denied. Biden is toast. The walls will keep crumbling, and my pick in the office pool for when he gives it up is August 9th, the 50th anniversary of when Nixon did, for, of course, very different reasons. Yes, replacing a president as his party's candidate this late will seem like a big deal for about 3 days. And then we'll all be over it. It'll be like when a coworker gets her done.
I mean, okay, that's actually not only a good joke, but also absolutely correct. I hate that. Oh my God, Ben Shapiro's on the panel. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is literally like the Avengers of all the smug elitist pieces of shit. Oh my God, jump scare. What is happening? I hate this. I hate that I agree with him on this, and he's right. And that's not even a bad joke.
Yeah. At first, it's, oh my God, and a week later, they're just her tits. America is going to do this. We're going to get new. So let's start handicapping the candidates. I just want to be your guide here and tell you what the choices are. Kamala Harris, vice president, will get all of Biden's campaign money. And on the Democrats' best issue, abortion, she's a walking reminder to women that Republicans are coming for the abortion pill. She won't just protect Plan B. She is Plan B.
Oh my God. Nightmare blunt rotation. Oh my God. Oh, he did it. Oh my God. Who's the fourth person? Satan? What's going on? What a roster. Like, at least it's not Richie Torres, okay? Bakari Sellers, very annoying. At least it's not Richie Torres. Like, it could have been worse.
And as a former prosecutor, Kamala was putting criminals in jail back before liberals decided that was a bad thing. And now that CVS is locking the shaving cream behind plexiglass, Democrats are coming around to her again. Harris would be the first woman president, first black woman president, and first Asian president. But I don't vote for who will be the first. I vote for who will win. And for whatever reason, Harris has never been popular. You can count the number of delegates she won in the 2020 primaries on one hand, as long as that hand has no fingers.
I legitimately, it's not even a joke. Like, I think that's a benefit. I'm not even kidding. Like, she is, in so many ways, a generic ass Democrat. And I think right now, a younger generic ass Democrat, what will truly change the outcome of this election? You have the capacity to captivate a ton of voting blocks with one quick switch. The people that are Biden dead enders are going to vote for whoever the president, especially if that person is the vice president. Right? Establishment versus populist is risky. I don't think so, because I don't think Donald Trump is as populist as you think he is. He was literally the president, and people remember how it was. Americans have amnesia for sure, but Donald Trump will remind them very quickly. Donald Trump will remind them very quickly, because Donald Trump's populism turned into chaos for a lot of people, for a lot of voters. That's why they voted him out. Now, because we have a lot of amnesia collectively when it comes to, thinking about things that happened 4 years in the past, it matters who the top of the ticket is, because Donald Trump will remind people of the past 4 years, or not the past 4 years, the past 8 years. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is the reason why originally the Democrats made the idiotic choice, the campaign made the idiotic choice that it made, which was to turn around and have Joe Biden present his case in front of the entire entire public that was watching the debate. They did the debate early. The goal was Biden is dynamic. He's alive. He can prove that he's alive. And then ultimately, the opposition will look crazy and light their own campaign on fire. Problem is, Biden is not alive, and he couldn't prove it.
In 3 years as vice president, she's been quieter than an electric car. And like an electric car, your MAGA uncle can't explain why she fills him with homicidal rage. She just does. Sometimes life isn't fair. It's not fair that she's not popular. She's intelligent and accomplished, and in fact was put in charge of the border. And look at how... Okay, bad example.
I do hate that. Like, this is another reason why. Like, look, this is why I hate him. Like, he is just such a right-wing dude. How can you not hate this mother? Oh man, the border is out of control. Oh, crime is out of control. Border's out of control. Both are just right-wing panics. Okay? Right-wing hysteria. Right-wing hysteria that this dumb is leaning into, not realizing that if he was a real one, if he was genuinely interested in the continuation of the Democratic Party's legacy, or the continuation of the Democratic Party's like electoral chances, electoral victory, then he wouldn't be leaning into this right-wing nonsense. But because he's such an old dumbass and a reactionary himself, he can't comprehend. He cannot comprehend that these are all right-wing panics that have dominated the discourse. And he's leaning into it and making it worse. Debating my conservative family is impossible on the border because they just make shit up and there's no way to counter because they just won't believe you. Yeah, it's the same with crime. It's the same with crime. There is nothing you can do. It feels so helpless. Okay? He's just telling the truth. See, there's still people in here. Ask them for evidence. You can't. It doesn't matter. Their evidence is made up hysteria. It's made up and it's panic and it's hysteria. That's it. Oh, they're coming over the border to do crimes. That is an insane assertion. That is an insane thing to say. Not only is crime lower, okay, it's trending lower as it has been, except for that brief blip post-COVID. And also on top of that, he's just stating facts. No, it's not about the border. It's about how incompetent and invisible she is. It's not, lol, you are clueless. What? He's just stating facts. What's the fact? What's the fact about immigration? Immigrants are coming over the border seeking refugees are coming over the border seeking asylum. It is legal for them to do so, okay? Not only is it legal, of course, I consider it to be immoral to deny them entry into the country. But what do you think is happening there, okay? What do you think is going on? Do you think they're coming over the border with ill intent to come in here and do crimes? Do you think they're invading the country? Or do you think these are people just like you, just like your family, just like your friends, who have hopes, dreams, and just simply want to survive? And they're coming and exercising their legal right to seek asylum with the hopes that they can inevitably get processed and start becoming active, productive members of American society, the American workforce. Just like our families, except not breaking the law. That's a great take, but it's pure copium. Why do we have laws then? Laws change. If you knew anything about the history of immigration, you would know that those laws have changed specifically so that there is a group of people that we can consistently use as basically slave labor. Also, these guys are not actually violating the law. This is very important for you to understand. They are not breaking the law, okay? They are not breaking the law anyway. These are asylum seekers. It is legal for them to come to the United States of America, step foot inside of the border, and legally seek asylum. So it's not even a matter of the law, even though laws can change, okay? And sometimes bad laws do change after people fight to change them. Chattel slavery was legal. Killing Jews and sending them to concentration camps in Nazi Germany was legal. Ironic, because the Bracero program is exactly what the Nazis tailored the camps off of as well. They drew a lot of inspiration from the methods that the American government used at the time when the American government was shipping in Mexicans into the United States of America to beef up agricultural production, to beef up agricultural output, only to put them in camps and spray them. You have to be extra racist to make a sock account to try and debate immigration. Yeah. And it's really funny how much this discourse has changed. I don't normally do this, but I think it's good to hear how far right
Yes, my name is David Grossberg, and
how far right this country has become on the issue of immigration. Here is George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan debating on immigration in 1980. This is the Republican primary. These are both Republican presidential candidates. Okay, take a look.
Yes, my name is David Grossberg, and I'd like to know, do you think the children of illegal aliens should be allowed to attend Texas public schools free, or do you think that their parents should pay for their education?
Who are you addressing that to?
I think you're first in this.
He was looking right at you. I said he was. Look, I'd like to see something done about the illegal alien problem that would be so sensitive and so understanding about labor needs and human needs that problem wouldn't come up. But today, if those people are here, I would reluctantly say I think they would get whatever it is that they're, what the society is giving to their neighbors. But the problem has to be solved. The problem has to be solved because as we have kind of made illegal some kinds of labor that I'd like to see legal, we're doing two things. We're creating a whole society of really honorable, decent, family-loving people that are in violation of the law, and secondly, we're exacerbating relations with Mexico. The answer to your question is much more fundamental than whether they attend Houston schools, it seems to me. I don't want to see if they're living here, I don't want to see a whole thing of 6- and 8-year-old kids being made, one totally uneducated and made to feel that they're living with outside the law. Let's address ourselves to the fundamentals. These are good people, strong people. Part of my family is a Mexican.
Like this is This is to the left of Joseph Robinette Biden's position in 2024. Do you understand? The Democrat in 2024, the Democratic Party, which ironically, he ran for president after this cycle, Joe Biden did. The situation in 1980 is the exact same in 2024. Brilliant take. It is. The American population has grown, right? And the share of immigrants that are trying to come into the country to legally seek asylum has grown as well. Unless you think that the undocumented migrants now are somehow more like violent than they were back then, and that they're doing more crimes or something, which, by the way, there is no empirical evidence for. There's only actual data that shows the exact opposite of that reality, a reality that Republicans have basically made reality by just lying about it over and over again. But something that you need to understand here, is that the situation in the 1980s is not that different from 2024. America has always relied on a steady flow at all. No, actually, let's continue.
Add to that, I think the time has come that the United States and our neighbors, particularly our neighbor to the south, should have a better understanding and a better relationship than we've ever had. And I think that we haven't been sensitive enough to our size and our power. They have a problem of 40 to 50% unemployment. Now, this cannot continue without the possibility arising with regard to that other country that we talked about, of Cuba and what it is stirring up, of the possibility of trouble below the border, and we could have a very hostile and strange neighbor on our border. Rather than making them or talking about putting up a fence, why don't we work out some recognition of our mutual problems, make it possible for them to come here legally with a work permit, and then while they're working and earning here, they pay taxes here. And when they go on.
The irony of this is that this ultimately was an inherently exploitative way to take advantage of a steady flow of migrant workers that come into the country. And we've moved even further beyond this level of exploitation. We rely, like, they do this in Europe. They do this with Polish people in Europe. They did this with Turkish migrant workers in Germany. Like, many Western liberal countries already rely on a two-tier labor system, right? Where they actually process all of the people that are coming in, give them paperwork, and take advantage of the material conditions of their of their home countries, and take advantage of the currency exchange in an effort to drive down wages for the entire population, and take advantage of a group of migrant workers that they can exploit more than the average American worker, the average documented worker of whatever the host nation is. Having said that, however, okay, the craziest part about it is that America was like, no, that we should just keep them illegal. That way we can exploit them even more. Do you understand how insane that is?
If they want to go back, they can go back, and they can cross and open the border both ways by understanding their problems. This is the only safety valve right now they have with that unemployment that probably keeps the lid from blowing off down there. And I think we could have a fine relationship, and it would solve the problem you mentioned also.
Here's Ronald Reagan speaking about in 1986, signing a ceremony for Immigration Reform and Control Act in the Roosevelt Room, talking about amnesty. As you guys know, this is one of the biggest pieces of shit in American history. One of the worst American presidents of all time. Okay. He's up there with George W. Bush. He's up there personally. He brought about the accelerated neoliberal era that caused Twitch Primes to be $6 instead of $5, or Twitch subscriptions to be $6 instead of $5 at the top of the hour, caused the ad breaks to be 3 minutes instead of 1. He is responsible for pretty much every inequality that Americans face, every inequality that Americans see. He is responsible for all of the bad and none of the good. 1980s, when worker productivity stopped being tied to wages and wage growth stopped. Cody just posted this video on Reagan. Everything bad is Ronald Reagan's fault. Oh, I love this. Okay, we can watch this.
Tuesday's election, and I want to congratulate all of you in the House of Representatives who've just been reelected. This bill, the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, that I'll sign in a few minutes, is the most comprehensive reform of our immigration laws since 1952. It's the product of one of the longest and most difficult legislative undertakings in the last 3 Congresses. Further,
God, they're also old, brother. There are a lot of similarities with this Ronald Reagan, especially. There are a lot of similarities with this Ronald Reagan and our current sitting president. And by that, I mean their brains. Ronald Reagan at this point, I believe, was in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's, if not, yeah. Leisha Miller has shorts that say Reagan ruined everything. Yes. Ronald Reagan in the United States of America and Margaret Thatcher in the UK is perhaps most singularly responsible for the fall of Western civilization, okay? Not that I give a shit about that sort of thing, but yes, absolutely. When you think about like material conditions worsening, when you think about gross inequality, the wealth disparity, okay? These two brought about the absolute worst change in the Western world.
it's an excellent example of a truly successful bipartisan effort. The administration and the allies of immigration reform on both sides of the Capitol and both sides of the aisle worked together to accomplish these critically important reforms to control illegal immigration. In 1981, this administration asked the Congress to pass a comprehensive legislative package including employer sanctions, other measures to increase enforcement of the immigration laws, and legalization. The Act provides these 3 essential components. Distance has not discouraged illegal immigration to the United States from all around the globe. The problem of illegal immigration should not, therefore, be seen as a problem between the United States and its neighbors. Our objective is only to establish a reasonable, fair, orderly, and secure system of immigration into this country and not to discriminate in any way against particular nations or people. I would like to recognize a few of the public servants whose unflagging efforts have made this legislation a reality. Senator Alan Simpson, Congressman Dan Lundgren, Chairman Peter Rodino, Congressman Ron Mazzoli have long pursued and now have attained this landmark legislation. Important roles were played by Senator Strom Thurmond.